Welcome to Never a Dull Moment. Today is definitely something interesting. We haven't done something like this in a while. We always try to get into some of those more complicated knife nerd type of topics. So today the topic is going to be CBN stones versus diamond stones versus regular synthetic stones. So I was very privileged that my friend Hans Plog in Germany, he had sent us a CBN stone. And this stone is going to be a steel with an electroplating of the CBN molecule or stone, I should say. And we'll get into what that is in just a moment. Very excited to use it. I've been messing around with it. This is a double-sided stone. And I want to talk to you guys about what CBN is compared to diamonds and compared to the synthetic stones that we're used to. So CBN is a material that in theory is the second hardest substance on Earth. Cubic boron nitride is a combination of boron and nitrogen. And on the opposite end of that, we've all heard of diamond stones. Some of us have an Atoma diamond plate. Some of us have heard of different diamond stones from DMT. Big Brown Bear, he has these diamond vitrified stones, which we'll get into that. And then even on the show, you guys have seen me do a review. I have the Naniwa compact field stone. This is a diamond stone that is bonded resin to aluminum plate. And so I want to talk about the differences in the different adhesive, like how they adhere. I want to talk about the differences in between diamonds and CBN, and I want to talk about the differences between that and a regular stone and when to use them and why. So diamond is the hardest substance on Earth. It is pure carbon, and under pressure and time, it is made the most natural occurring hardest substance there is. And we're going to have some visuals for you, but the diamond shape is what's called a tetrahedron shape. And when I put this image in here, you're going to see that it is a three-sided pyramid shape. And when you think of a three-sided pyramid, you think of all the cutting angles of the diamond. Okay, so obviously we have a very sharp object with a triangular pyramidal shape, and it's going to cut, and it's going to be a super abrasive, and it's known as a super abrasive. So when we get into like the harder steels, we have a ZDP 189, we have a HAP 40, we have Chromax, heated to a 65. We have the R2 SG2s that are heated to a 64, 65. Some of these harder ones, it would take you forever if you can do it with the natural stone. This HAP 40 and this ZDP 189, I haven't even used them yet. They're so sharp. I don't want to dull them right now for the show. How painful will that be? But with a Rockwell hardness in the 67, 68 scale, these synthetic stones, I'm not saying you couldn't it's going to be difficult. So let's get back into the CBN versus diamond. Okay, so diamond, because of the tetrahedron shape, is the triangular shape. It's going to have facets, these points, these cutting points. The triangular shape is going to be deeper, so there's going to be bigger valleys. It's going to cut very quick. But the valleys that are created between those particles made for a lot of metal build up, load up to come in between the stones themselves. The CBN, just talking about the two particles themselves, the CBN is an octahedron. And so imagine taking a four-sided pyramid and taking another four-sided pyramid and putting the base of the pyramid together. So you have a four-sided diamond-esque object. You have more cutting facets. Second hardest substance, which means all the steels that you're going to be working with, the diamond and the CBN are both going to be able to handle. So right off the bat, you're thinking, well, diamond must be the winner. And in hardness, yes, but we also know that the harder things are, the more brittle they are. So diamonds are going to over time, if you're pressing too hard, if you're not taking your knife and just letting the diamond do the work, you're going to break the diamonds. And as they break, you're going to get more cutting facets, but you're making the diamond smaller. So what's going to happen is you're going to change the grit. I can't guarantee that you're going to go from, say, 1,000 grit down to a 3,000 grit. It's just that if you're aggressive with the diamond pressing really hard, you're going to be breaking the diamonds themselves. And over time, you're going to change the usage of the actual stone itself. The CBN, even though it's obviously the second hardest, it's still second hardest. It's slightly softer. You're not going to get the breaking. You're going to have more cutting edges because of how many sides it has. So you're going to get shallower cuts. You're not going to have the valleys that we were talking about. You're going to get even faster cutting because of the amount of cutting edges. So both of them are going to be great for doing your different steels. Now, if you get into your Maximet, like your 70 Hardwell rock, I mean, I'm sure you're going to need diamond. I'm not saying you can't use a CBN. I mean, these are the two hardest things there are. But you have definitely ruled out the normal synthetic stones. This is where you're going to operate. So let's also talk about like how these things are put into a plate. So Hans, who has sent me this stone, his is electroplated. The CBN is, you have the CBN particle itself, you have nickel put in a container, you have a steel plate, they are all put in a jar, electricity is applied, the nickel and the diamonds adhere to the plate itself. And so the nickel was like molten lava at one time, basically, and the diamonds went into the nickel. Excuse me, the CBN went into the nickel. And so the CBN particles are sticking out of the nickel. A lot of the CBN particle is inside the nickel. But obviously the electroplating process is the most secure way that you're going to be able to get that hooked to the plate. When they machine these plates, they have to make sure that they are absolutely flat. You cannot flatten these. So whether you're doing an electroplated diamond stone or an electroplated CBN stone, the plate itself has been machined within, like, I mean, the perfection of it has to be incredible, because if they don't get it flat, you won't be able to, and you'll have a problem with it. Because the diamond electroplate and the CBN electroplate particles are below the nickel, you will use them until the plate is done, and then you will throw the plate away. The plates that are, they will not, if they're electroplated, they will not dish. They will stay flat. If it was flat from the company and there was no imperfection, it will stay flat. Again, with the diamond, if you are to press too hard, you're breaking the diamond particles, getting more cutting edges, but changing the size of the diamond. You will not have that problem with CBN. So that's something to think about, like faster cutting, more cutting edges, not going to break, stay true to grit. So at the end of the day, I think there's a little bit of an advantage on the CBN just knowing that it will be constant. Where can you run into some other differences? Well, if we were using the wheels, the grinding wheels on the Tormic and other grinders, these everything changes because now you add heat. And if you were using diamonds and the diamonds were hitting carbon steel knives and the carbon and the diamond were to hit, then we've got things made like graphite. We don't have to deal with like heat when we're hand sharpening. So they're pretty close to being like a tie itself. My wife is laughing because I think she hit the camera. In the hand sharpening world, they're going to be pretty close together. Again, if you do not press too hard on the diamond and break the particles, the diamond will outlast the CBN. If you don't let the diamonds do the work and you press too hard, you're going to wear it out faster. So that's up to you. Let's talk about another way that these are adhered. So over here we have a resin bonded plate. What that means is that the diamonds and an adhesive were put onto the plate. Okay, and you can see it's very thin. If the adhesive layer was too thick, there's no way to guarantee that it would be flat. So we need the adhesive layer itself. My wife's trying to get you guys in focus. It's okay. You know, part of the show, guys, we're trying to get it in focus.
You want to focus on you first.
Okay. So you'll always see with the resin bonded that the adhesive layer is very thin. The diamonds themselves are inside the adhesive. There's only so much diamond sticking up from the resin bonding. Now, Naniwa, with what they did with this particular plate, is they actually did a little bit more resin bond and diamonds in a kind of a layered effect. Their goal, that was different than other resin bonded, was that over time you would actually lose some of the diamonds in the resin bonding, and you would actually reveal more diamond. So the Naniwa diamond plates try to do a little something different in the fact that they can dish slowly over time. Dishing, remember, is not going to happen with electroplating. If you got the Naniwa product, dishing is something you might have to think about. But typically a resin bonded stone, whether it be CBN or diamond, is not going to dish, and it's going to be a very thin layer adhesive. The problem with the resin bonding is it's only as good as the resin bond. I mean, the adhesive itself, if they don't use a good one, the diamonds or CBN are just popping out. So the electroplating is, I mean, it's in there. It's literally, they have become, through electricity, nickel melting, everything, it has become. So another thing we need to know, diamond versus CBN, is also diamond versus diamond. In the world of knives, we talk about abrasives all the time. We've got gunny juice, a diamond emulsion, a diamond slurry. So Scott Gunn, with the emulsions, he wants and does use what's called the polycrystalline diamonds. So what you have there is those particular man-made diamonds, when they break, and they break finer, it's a polishing solution. It's cutting away, like loose material on your knife. But as they're getting smaller, it's going to create that high polish, that clean apex on the knife. Monocrystalline diamonds are typically what are used in diamond stones. So when you're using the monocrystalline, you're not going to have the breakage problem so much. And we said earlier, diamonds are harder, they're brittle, they will break. But a monocrystalline for this solution is better than polycrystalline. The polycrystalline diamonds are much better for what Scott is using them for, which is to strop the edges and to possibly polish not only metal, but even jewelry, even other diamonds. So we've covered the CBN particle being different than the diamond particle. We have covered the different ways to adhere them to a plate, whether it be a resin bond or the electroplate. Big Brown Bear has these vitrified diamond stones. And what that means is when they pour the ceramic stone, the diamonds are in the ceramic. The diamonds that's how they adhere. When the ceramic is hardening, the diamonds are actually in it. One of the things you'll need to note about all of the ones that I have shown you, there is a randomness. If you can imagine octahedron particle, this diamond, when they go in with the electroplating or with the resin bond, the particles are turned all kinds of different ways, which gives you those different cutting facets. There's also a little randomness to it. Okay? So the diamond, that's tetrahedron. The CBN is octahedron. Whenever you do the electroplating with all the different points, or whenever you do the resin bond, the particles go in randomly. So you don't know which way the pyramids are actually happening. But Atoma, they went ahead and made a plate, and they actually evenly disperse all the particles. And I know mine's a little dirty because it gets used. But one of the things that they did was all of the diamonds are actually put in there completely even. They took the time to make sure that the particles are even. And that's really one of the reasons you're seeing people using them all the time, whether they're grinding metal or flattening the other stones. They went next level. I got some knives out for you. I'm sorry about the yawn, guys. We were up a little late last night. So we've been shooting episodes for you, and we're having fun. I'm so excited about what's going on because we're going to be sharpening some knives here in a little bit. Not on this episode, but the next. Definitely stay tuned for that. So all of the knives in front of you can be sharpened with the CBN and the diamond. Okay, whether it's the diamond resin, the fixed diamond electroplate, the CBN electroplate. But obviously, when you get to something a little softer like the super blue, where the hardness is 64 and below, typically 63, 62, you're going to be able to get like a really nice refined edge with the more synthetic stone. I would even tell you that if you get your harder steels grinded to get a new apex with the diamond, to still go back, when you have those grooves, those scratches on the side of your apex, you would still want to probably finish on a synthetic stone to collapse the metal that's hanging on each side of those scratches and to help to shear that away. And that way you'll have a better cutting feel as you pull the knife through. So I definitely hope you learned a little bit more about what diamonds are versus CBN. That was always confusing to me. I definitely hope that learning that you can use them at any time on any knife, but they really shine on the powdered steels, any of the super steels. These are super abrasives meant to do a very aggressive job for you. We are going to be doing a video where we sharpen a knife using the CBN. The finest grit that I have that was sent to me is 1200. So obviously we'll see what kind of edge we get when we finish. After we do the 1200, we will do some leather to polish the edge to make sure that it's not quite so toothy. We will not go to a regular stone. We just want to see the power of the CBN. And at some point, we're actually going to do a video where I have 3 of the identical knife, all super blue, so they all can be used by any. And we're going to sharpen on the 1200 to 1000 range and just test and see, how it feels. How does it feel to sharpen? How aggressive? Can you tell the difference, or does it seem kind of the same? So definitely some amazing videos coming up. Any questions, please leave them in the comment area. Definitely going to have links to Hans's product. And then some of the Atoma plate, some of the diamond stuff, even the Naniwa, I'll put links to all those in the description so you can see and read on the different particles themselves. Excited learning about all this stuff, excited sharing it with you, not excited about dulling a ZDP 189 knife just so I can sharpen it. That's going to hurt. But excited to see the different comparisons. Thank you for watching this show today in your knife sharpening journey. Hopefully that was a little bit more information for you. I learned a lot. Wow, overwhelming. Hopefully that was not a dull moment. Bless you guys for checking out us on Friday nights at 8 o'clock. We appreciate you so much. Any links to this stuff, some stuff that Hans did, the gunny juice, so you can learn more about that, I'll have above and in the description. We're out. God bless you guys.